Hola, soy Julio César Chávez.
That's lights out, baby. Lights out all day.
This is Sugar Ray Leonard, and you listen to Fight Net Radio.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a one-hour television spectacular.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
We gon' know. I got eyes and ears everywhere. I got friends all over the world, man.
Who gives a shit with Whitey's? A piece of crap.
With a tear in my eye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. Lee Hanish, Andrew LaPachet, Miguel Antonio Barragon. First and foremost, go to fightnetradio.media. Check out our webpage there. You can find links to follow us on Facebook, YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow Fight Phoenix on YouTube and Instagram. And you can follow Andrew to the bathroom. I like that. We're available Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, NBC Radio, and about another 50 places after that. First, shout out to everybody out there that's keeping up on us and growing our numbers. We apologize for taking a week off. We've been adjusting the time we can record so that we can provide more content. Secondly, we apologize that we're not creating more content between Miguel and I. We'll get back on our Wednesday night viewing series of, I think we should just call it Crazy Shit in Boxing as we rewatch it.
That works.
And I am in talks with our producer, Sam Navajero, to create some kind of international Fight Net Radio thing. And I'll even go a step further. I am in talks right now to see about bringing the MMA side of Fight Net Radio back. It'll probably include Miggs, for sure. But I'm trying to figure out who the Andrew is for the MMA side. I think it has to be a fighter. And my experience with getting fighters to be on the show is awful at best. They're a little flaky, so I'm working on it. Now you guys are all updated. As we do every Sunday before we begin, we go once around the horn. Andrew, turn down your volume a little tiny bit so we don't have feedback. Cool. We will start with Miguel this time. Miguel, you are in Las Vegas, Nevada. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. I'm starting to notice less and less, fewer people wearing masks out and about. But
there were none last night in Vegas. None.
Right? But
I
then
was
again,
at
I don't
Caesars,
exactly.
and it was a shit show with no masks.
Yeah. But then again, I don't really step out too much, other than to maybe grab my mail because it is hot as shit. It's indoors is pretty much where I'm kicking it most of the time.
So my first question for you is, because I've been in town for 2 days and hiding in my room working. So you're saying a bad idea to go play 4 o'clock golf at Desert Pines?
Yes. Unless you want to come back like bright red, it's probably not a good idea.
All right. Good tip. I like it. Andrew LaPachet, he is in the Bay Area. He is our correspondent there. He is also the emissary to a group of individuals who watch the show so incessantly that they harass him when the show is not put up. Shout out to all you guys who harassed Andrew, who harassed me. Shout out to you guys, whoever you are. Andrew, how are you?
Very good. I always wonder what our numbers are when you talk like that, Lee.
They're actually way on the upswing, which is kind of irritating, which means Sam Navajero's changes have made the show better, and I don't want to give him that much credit.
Very good. Yeah, we're doing good over here. I see less masks out here too. We went to, what is it, Marine World, the one in Vallejo.
Yeah.
Last
Six
Saturday.
Flags. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't ask. They didn't ask us to put on any masks. We were in the park. Everybody was there if you wanted to wear one, you could, but they weren't asking for their guests to put one on when we entered. And then I was at Home Depot the other day, and they were selling their hand sanitizer for $1. So I was like, well, COVID's over.
COVID is over. Officially, COVID is over. I saw it on the Strip for the last couple of days. COVID's over. COVID is so over in Vegas that I refuse to go to the Strip. That's how over COVID is. There's too many people. It's back to what it used to be, where you can't drive down Flamingo at 6 o'clock. I'm over it, and I've been here since Friday. I've been here a long time. I went to Albuquerque. So if you guys want to know whether or not there's a hotter, shittier hellhole, it's called Albuquerque, New Mexico. Shout out to Albuquerque. Wow. And to answer your question, Andrew, this is a good question. are the numbers on the upswing. You saw we're being solicited directly by PR people. Like, I haven't seen that ever for Fight Net Radio, where we've been positioned or had somebody with a fighter actually contact us to interview their fighter before a fight. Now, admittedly, I've never heard of her. I'm going to put her on. I'll record her, but I'm not going to talk to her about her fight. I don't give two shits about that. She's a chick in boxing. I'm going to ask her the truth. Have you thought about, taking your top off and making more money?
Yeah, that would get you far. There you go. I'm sure that's the question that's going to get your career to the next level.
You realize that the promoter probably is a regular listener to the show, and he's already thinking, no, that's going to happen.
Sure in the hell hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to give
I'll
you a
get
list of
views.
what not
I
to
will
ask.
get views for that girl's fight, man. I will get views. If she's hot.
Yeah, it's like a guy who plays Russian roulette and goes, there are bullets that are empty. There's
Just keep clicking.
So, fun fact for people watching the videos or just listening to the podcast. I don't know how you watch it or listen. There are so many different ways to get Fight Net Radio. Again, go to the website, fightnetradio.media, to go and listen or watch the show in all its various formats. I had originally written today's show on boxing scene, and I had 25 stories for the past basically 2 weeks. Because we were off last week, and I had to reset my computer to do today's show, and so I used Fight News. The same 25 stories break down into like 8 stories on Fight News. So you guys can take that information for what you want. Yes, you're not going to get 5 updates on Fury and Wilder, sadly. We will talk about it a little bit, but we have so many fights to cover. I almost wanted to do today's show. There used to be a show called Face the Nation, where a guy would kind of direct news topics or stories or fights in general, and then ask a question about it, which is kind of how we run the show anyway. And then that guy would then give his opinion of what the correct answer was. Like, you were asked a direct question, and somebody would give their opinion, and then he'd go, wrong! The correct answer is Joe Biden is senile, right? Like, that's how the show works. I'm going to try that out today. Just thought I'd warn everybody because that's where I'm going with it. So let's get started. 2 weeks ago, or a week ago. It's technically a week ago, isn't it? A week ago. We've only been off for a week, but it seems like 2 weeks. A week ago, Naoya Inoue returns to the ring, beats Das Marnias to retain the WBA IBF belts. Bantamweight champion Naoya Inoue destroys Michael, whatever the fuck his name is. I'm going back to driving cabs in the Philippines. In 3 rounds on Saturday night at the Virgin Hotel in front of a bunch of screaming COVID-riddled fans. Here is the question. I start with you, Miguel Antonio Barragan. Naoya Inoue, will he be stopped?
Eventually, yes. I mean, of course, that's usually how it is, right? Everybody's going to eventually meet their match, and sometimes it's when you least expect it. Anytime soon, I don't think so, but eventually, yes.
I just realized I should be doing that voice. Sorry, voice. I mean, we should get Top Rank Bob to do it. God, what an idiot. Bob, come over here. Hello, LaPachet. Naoya Inoue, greatest of all time. Reaction.
No, he's working his way up, Lee. Or Bob, excuse me. Sorry.
I love this show. Next question. Is Naoya Inoue pound for pound Andrew LaPachet?
Not at all. He needs a few more big wins under his belt before I give him that title. Had some family there at that fight, though. That was pretty cool. They went to go see him live. And my brother-in-law bet against him, though. I was like, good luck on that one. So that didn't turn out too good.
How did he bet on a dude named Hot and Spicy?
He was plus like 1,400.
Yeah, I get that. We get a lot of plus 1,400. Why don't your family or friends call me when they're going to bet on fights? Like, I'm available. I have no life.
Right? When you're in Vegas, it's all gambling. So he went for the plus 1,400.
He dropped a hundo on it, didn't he? He did. I feel like that's a $100 bet.
No, I don't know if he put 100 on it. I don't know what he put on it, but hopefully not 100. It was still gambling. still
That is
gambling.
very gambling. Jesus,
Yeah.
that's gambling. All right, let's talk about Nailway Inouye for a minute. He has wrecked all of his competition. He wrecked Donaire once. To be really considered the guy, we're going to talk about this in a minute. Donaire's going to fight, and we'll talk about that shortly. Is Inouye really like legit? I mean, again, am I just looking at another Japanese fighter in a really shitty weight class? Like Bob is like really big on getting these Asian fighters. While they look great, I think they're fighting sub-rate opponents because nobody really gives two fucking shits about people who weigh about the size of a shit. So I start with you, Miguel. Is Inouye legit? Or, like, there's nobody legit in the weight class besides Donaire, and he's already beaten Donaire.
Yeah, but he did come across some issues with Donaire as well. We can't forget that Donaire did fuck him up, and I think cracked his orbital bone as well. So he didn't come out of there completely unscathed. Maybe on a different night, a different Donaire, maybe Donaire would have been able to pull it off. And Donaire has himself a belt now, so we're probably looking at that, for fight unification fight down the line as well. So hey, maybe I think unfortunately his weight class where he's at, most of the sort of names are one weight division below him. So anybody who's going to end up eventually fighting him of name is probably going to have to move up in the near future. But I mean, I don't know. We can't count Donaire out. I've made that mistake a couple of times already of counting Mr. Donaire out, and he got himself a WBC belt now. So if the unification bout comes down the line very soon, we're going to see. I suspect we're going to see a different Donaire in the rematch.
Andrew LaPachet, reaction.
He has a win over Donaire, which is big for his young career. The guy's still young, Lee, right? He's got 21 wins, something like that. Hope to
21
knock out.
and 18, yeah.
21 and 8, yeah. So it's a good early record. Knockout power is good. The Donaire fight is huge. Donaire is a big star here, the Philippines, Asia. Donaire's pretty big. He's been in a lot of big fights. He was kind of like the Robin to Pacquiao, who was Batman at that time. And so his name is pretty big in boxing. They're going to do that fight. It seems over. I know Donaire has how do you say his name? Casamayor? Is it just
no.
Casamayor?
It's which one?
Casamayor.
No, Das Marinas.
Whatever. Yeah. Oh, the guy he fought, Das Marinas? It's Das Marinas.
Oh, Marinas. Oh, I thought it was
Das Marinas.
Das Marinas.
Fighting that guy next.
Say it with an R.
It looks like the Inouye fight is already set up. The rematch is set up. So it's a huge fight for both. I still think Inouye's biggest rival, I think, is going to be if Jaime Estrada can keep winning. They're going to have a huge fight here in the near future.
Miguel, reaction. Jaime Estrada. Side topic.
What?
I don't know. I don't even know who Jaime Estrada is. Like, he pulled that name out of his ass.
That came out of nowhere. That was a good one.
Donaire's next opponent is John Real Casamiro.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So that's his next opponent, and he has to get through him, and then it looks like the Inouye he'll be set.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's actually on the list. Yes, but yes, it's not Joel Casamayor. I'm pretty sure he's not fighting.
My bad.
Nah, it's all right. What is Joel doing these days?
Did you see last night? And I don't mean to jump. I just want to throw it out there. On the Lomachenko fight, they announced the Wilder Fury at the Las Vegas Stadium. They showed Mark Davis, and they go, the fight, they're going to carry the heavyweight fight there. I was like, well, how's this dickhead not know that they're not carrying the fight? The ticket's already on sale.
Wait, you want a fun fact? You want a fun fact about that fight? Because I know this for a fact. I'll show it on the screen. Go to Groupon, everybody. Guess what you can buy on Groupon?
Damn.
Type in Fury Wilder. I can't even make this shit up. There it is. Fury Wilder available on Groupon.
I gotta admit, I have a confession. I have never seen Mark Davis until last night. Holy shit!
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I have not. I've never seen.
You
what
have
he looked
not
like.
seen the Mongoloid?
Dude, he looked like Baby Huey, bro.
He's a Mongoloid.
Like,
he's a legit Mongoloid. I mean,
full cut and everything. I was like, wow.
Miguel, you're also going to notice he's always going to be wearing the same white turtleneck shirt with a charcoal jeans. It's like he has 7 pairs of these charcoal jeans.
This outfit right here.
It's like his life uniform.
What a mongoloid. What fucked to create that creature.
Look at that hair. What the fuck?
There's so much going on here to break down. I almost need the Wonkastrator. I mean, first of all, the bowl cut, like, what barber did that to your head?
Yes.
Right? You know what that looks like? First of all, let me tell you where some of the semen came from to make that hair. Tell me that doesn't look like John Gruden's hair stuck on the top of Mark Davis. Everybody see it? Is it just me?
Yes, we just need a mean look on his face, and we got it. We got an older version.
Secondly, it looks like somebody took his face and ground it into sand to take the first layer of skin off. He has no chin with a fat ring that actually makes his head a complete egg. Wow.
Oh, man, he looks like Humpty Dumpty. Yes, an egg.
Damn,
like
mongoloid.
Humpty Dumpty, bro.
You guys, it's kind of scary. This man needed boxing big time to help his stadium situation out. They just announced Spence versus Pacquiao. It's supposed to be a huge fight. That's at the T-Mobile Arena itself. I don't know what Mark did, but for some reason he's not landing these fights in a stadium. That's going to make these boxing promoters, if you have a hot fight, if you're predicting 100,000 fans are going to be in Las Vegas for your fight, why would you not put it in a stadium of 72,000 where you could sell the upper deck for whatever closed circuit is, and people might want to go there just to be in the event? They might pay.
Groupon, Andrew. They're already using Groupon.
Oh, well, that's Fury. Yeah, you know, Lee, I told you we went over this a few weeks ago. They predicted that fight was not going to do as good because Deontay Wilder went through what he did in the rematch. Not, you know, maybe the demand for the tickets weren't heavy when they announced the fight.
Well, the sad reality of that, as Bob's running around here making coffee behind my back. What's up, Bob?
Get in more coffee.
Thank you, Bob. Why are you in my room, Bob? We are in Vegas. Can't you be someone? Hookers! Okay, cool, Bob. I look, every report out there for that fight, right, Andrew, is that he's going to get steamrolled. Like Wilder, like everybody's now positioned, and we saw this last week. I saw it when I was pulling the news stories. Boxing Scene was reporting Wilder's got like new sets of excuses. Like he's literally manufacturing crazy excuses for the last fight. And everybody from the PBC to straight people are all saying Wilder has no shot in this fight. Like he's literally going to get knocked out and knocked out fast. Like there is not a soul, including PBC people, who think that he has a shot.
Yeah, I think PBC are pulling back on that one.
Yeah, they're just getting out of the way and making their 10 million and getting the fuck out of Dodge. He's damaged goods. Oh well, let's get back to boxing news. Let's talk about Charlo decisioning Montiel to retain the WBC title. If you didn't know, one of the Charlo brothers, this one particularly Jamal, I don't really care. Never been a fan of either of the Charlo brothers because they don't fight anybody in the top 10. This particular Charlo is 32-0 and actually has 2 belts, the Ring Magazine undisputed for that title at middleweight. But the reason I bring it up, this is technically the most undisputed fighter. I checked this, the most undisputed fighter that the PBC has with his 3 ridiculous little belts or whatever he has. Like that's the most of a PBC fighter, which is why they keep propping this fucker up and jamming him down our throat. I start with you, Miguel. Of course you watched it. What did you think of his fight against Montiel?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. At first, I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna take Montiel out. I thought maybe, he's gonna be able to finish him midway into the fight. But I was impressed with Montiel's, chin. We know that the guys, he comes from a boxing family. So for those of you who don't remember, he's related to the other Montiel who got knocked out by Donaire years back. Fernando. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Fernando Montiel. Yeah.
So they're related. I'm not sure how exactly. I think cousins or something. I'm not sure. But I come from a boxing family, so I was like, all right, well, he's gonna be tough, of course. I got to be honest, I was not too impressed with Charlo. He he went in there somewhere in the middle. I forgot what round it was. He hurt Montiel, and he basically went balls to the wall and emptied out his gas tank and was fucked for the rest of the fight. I wasn't too impressed with Montiel either. A lot of his punches seemed to be like slapping kind of hack type punches. He had this habit of switching stances from southpaw to orthodox. Oftentimes he had one foot next to the other, not one in front of the other, and it just looked like most of Charlo's punches were pushing Montiel off balance as opposed to hurting them. And there was a point where Montiel actually hurt Charlo for a brief second, stunned him right dead in his tracks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's going to do it. I legitimately thought Montiel was going to actually finish him, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like Montiel was on his level, and he still hurt Charlo, and he still had him in trouble. And then, Charlo fucking emptied his gas tank thinking he was going to be able to finish him. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? Don't be calling out Triple G after this, dude. I mean, you know what? He's a name. He's got belts. I get it. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just throw him in there with another big name, with an actual fucking fighter. But it's probably a bad idea. I suspect he ends up fighting. If he ends up fighting Triple G, which I don't think is going to happen anyway, it's going to be a bad night for him. I don't know. Something about that fight just didn't impress me about Charlo.
Hold on. Andrew, you can unmute yourself. I was testing something because we're getting weird feedback on your line. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Apologize for everybody. We're in the middle of technical things here. Don't tell me I can't. There you go, Andrew. Oh. Turn your volume down just a little tiny bit, Andrew. Your microphone's just picking up a little bit of feedback. That's all. I'll get this worked out. I know you don't like the headset that I spent money on. It's okay. You can unmute yourself now, Andrew. I'm editing the show again on the fly. God damn it. Andrew? Why do I allow him to push buttons? This is my fault. I blame myself at this point for trying to make the show better for everybody listening. And everybody's listening right now. Now Andrew can't unmute himself. This is actually the funniest part of the show to me. I got to be perfectly honest. I can see you, Andrew. Should be able to unmute yourself. There's a little over the microphone. There you go. There you go. Now you can talk. Woo! Hi, Andrew.
And we're back.
Hey, how's that sound? Do you have back feed now?
There we go. God damn it, Andrew.
I can barely hear you fucking guys, but oh well.
Well, I'm sorry. That's why I got you the headset.
Yeah, well, your headset sucks.
Okay. I'm gonna have to buy a computer. I gotta buy all kinds of shit for you. All right, Andrew. What do you think of Charlo, Andrew?
Well, listen, I agree with everything that Miguel said. He was related to Fernando Montiel only by blood, not by boxing skill. He should have won the fight. Charlo should not be champion today. He needs to thank every flaw that Miguel talked about. Anybody that had this kid should be one of the hottest fighters, I think, on the market as far as trying to get a dark horse and make him a champion. He had the toughness, he had the chin, he has the power, he has the punch output. He had all of that except guidance. I thought Showtime did a great job of hitting on his trainer sucked. They didn't know what to tell him. They didn't even know if he wanted to be a southpaw or orthodox. They didn't know anything in his corner. He's lost in the ring. He's a sparring partner. He's not a champion. Someone needs to get him and make him a champion. I think he knocks Charlo out.
Mm-hmm.
Great fight. It shouldn't have been, but it was, and that brings the markability of Charlo down. Don't ever mention Triple G when you can't beat Fernando Montiel's cousin.
I got the straps, Andrew. I got the straps. He's got to come to me. It's strap season.
He's flinching at the end of the fight. I don't know if anyone caught it. In the last 3 seconds, Montiel. I was going to call him Fernando. Montiel is acting like he's going to hit him. You know what I mean? You see the champs in the corner, like just flinching away. You don't want this kid. You don't want any more. He lost the championship rounds. So yeah, good fight, but yeah, calm yourself. Listen, if I'm Oscar, what the fuck? Get on the phone right now, and it's not for you to fight him. It's for Jaime Munguia. Munguia's.
Don't give Oscar any ideas and think he can actually step in there with Charlo.
That's why, hey, Miguel, that's why I try to kill it right away. Try to kill that shit, dude. Don't get it. Yes.
Go ahead, say it, Andrew. Come on. Everybody's waiting for it so they can take a shot.
No. Hey, Munguia is just as tough. But you know what? He knows himself. He knows that he's a brawler. He knows that he got to get on the inside and knock your ass out. Charlo don't want any bit of that. I'm dead serious. If he can't stop you with his offense, he wants no bit of that inside with Munguia. I think Munguia knocks him out if it's the same fight that he fought Montiel with.
It's not going to happen. Why are we even, like, they're not going to put Charlo in danger. Come on, Andrew.
Money talks. Charlo seems hungry for money. De La Hoya can generate this type of money, that type of fight. We don't know. We don't know. I know they're coming to an end over there. At some point, the PBC guys got to start reaching out. So I'm hoping, Lee. I'm just throwing it out there that Oscar should at least be on the internet right now saying, I'm ready to put Munguia, unification match between Munguia and fucking Charlo. Let's get it on.
We'll talk about the only thing Oscar's talking about. Yeah, right. He's talking about himself. He's busy.
Trust me, you guys, that's why I started off with not you. That's why I started.
Well, let's rewind the week. You guys have been waiting for this hot take from me, maybe Andrew, maybe Miguel, but probably in about that order. I don't know which one to start with here. I mean, there's so many good ones. And then there was a follow-up story that Fight News didn't get, which was from Chavez in an interview saying, my son should retire if he's not going to take boxing seriously. Which is even more insulting than what happened during and after the Chavez Senior fight. So I already know this one's going to take at least an hour to talk about. So let's start backwards and start forwards to talk about Chavez Senior fighting Camacho Jr., which pathetic, sad. I'm trying to think of all the adjectives I want to use, Miguel. Pathetic. Did I use that one? Can I say it again?
Yes, underachieving.
Underachieving. Chavez Senior, Camacho Jr., no business. Is that an adjective? No business.
Non-event. It was
non-event. And then to top it all off, for those of you who didn't see it, was Canelo coming in the ring and Chavez passing the torch via microphone to Canelo, not his kids.
No, Canelo. He literally said, I wish you were my son.
Yeah,
I heard
right. That's the capper to a bad evening. So let's talk about Senior first, because I know Andrew loves Chavez Senior. It is his favorite fighter, if you are not familiar with our show. We start with you, Andrew. This hopefully is the final chapter of the old man.
I hope it is. He said it would be, but he said that before. Unfortunately, he said it so many times to me, Lee, I didn't even watch this one. I did watch him versus Arce. I'll put that there. But I did not watch this fight. Chavez, I hope Chavez Sr. won. I believe he did. I didn't see any highlights. It was like no one covered this. Unfortunately, his deadbeat son, Chavez Jr., and the legend Anderson Silva made more news than Chavez Sr. did fight.
We'll talk about it.
I know.
I have written 3 pages of notes on the fight.
I didn't see any news on Chavez Sr. or highlights on the fight.
No,
with
just
Camacho
the fact that the 3 big news stories coming out of the fight. Number 1 was him loving Canelo more than his own flesh and blood, and then number 2, about 3 days later, basically saying my kids should not fight; they should retire. That's Chavez Sr.'s take. He went just short of saying, "Wow, my children, like their mothers are genetic fucking mutants, and they're not."
Omar has more of an excuse than Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr. has failed his father in every way.
Chavez Jr. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Given a golden career, and he just spit on it every time. It's very sad how Chavez Jr. responded to what he was given.
Yeah, true. Miguel, what did you think of Senior and Junior? Senior Jr. Camacho.
Well, which one first? I mean,
Camacho Jr., who apparently learned to box just for this fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it first off, Camacho.
Wait, let me ask a question. Andrew, do you think I fought better against Danny than Camacho Jr. did against, unless you saw the highlights? I'm thinking I fought Danny better than Camacho Jr. did against Senior. I'm just putting it out there, everyone. Go ahead, Miguel.
So Camacho Jr. Comes into this fight looking like he's got a fucking turkey in his stomach. Like
Yeah.
he swallowed a whole fucking goddamn turkey. Like the dude looked huge, right? Like his, I don't. He did those shorts, those trunks that he wore were not flattering in the slightest. So, so obviously he took this kind of fight like half-assed, right? Chavez, on the other hand, he took it a lot more seriously. You can tell he's always been in good shape, and even in his later years, it was pretty obvious. It almost looked like Camacho didn't really want to throw punches, and it just seemed like his body just wasn't responding quick enough to be able to throw these punches to fuck him up. It was kind of sad to see Chavez in there. He was doing good, but he was missing a lot of punches. Even as out of shape as Camacho was, he was still able to get out of the way of shots, and he got trapped in the corner a couple of times and he escaped. It was a couple of times where there was some like punches thrown after the bell. I wasn't liking that. It's like, come on, guys, this is his last fight. Can we just like be respectful this one last fucking time? But to be honest, considering this was an exhibition fight, I didn't even know there was a scorecard, so I don't even know who the hell won. I still don't know who the hell won.
Chavez Senior, of course.
I exactly. I assume they just went the distance, and that's how it is. Whatever. There was an actual winner or an actual loser, or even judges for that matter.
Well, what we learned from the Floyd fight is you have to score it, or people get disappointed if it goes to a non-decision.
Yeah. Because I mean, then what else did they do? They do like what Floyd and Logan did. They got to the center of the ring, and they're like, "All right, give me that hand.
Kiss and make up."
Yeah. Give him a hand, and then everybody cheers. It's like, all right, so what's the decision? But I mean, it was fun to see, Chavez one last time. And in that last round, I think Chavez has said he wanted to remove his headgear and then go that last round without the headgear. I was like, oh shit, all right, cool, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then people were like, no, and even Camacho's corner were like, no, don't go out there unless he puts on that fucking thing. And even Camacho himself was like, no, dude, I'm not gonna go with you without the headgear. I don't know what the hell that was about, because I think that was just like, this unspoken rule or something that they were going to go at it without the headgear in the last round, which ultimately didn't go down. But it was fun to see Chavez in there, seeing him throw those left hooks just one more time before he called it a total career. But so, basically what Andrew was saying earlier, I'm not sure if this is legitimately the last time we'll see him in there, but considering how slow he was and how labored his punches looked, I'm not sure he should be in there anymore. Well, I'm sure he shouldn't, I should say. But it was fun to see him one last time at least.
His career ended when he fought Frankie Randall.
Yeah,
let's just call it.
That's where it ended. In the 11th round of that fucking fight.
Yeah.
In 2005, I watched Chavez. I drove to LA to watch Chavez fight Ivan Robinson in what was called his farewell tour.
Yeah. Come on.
Seen him fight in 2021.
Ridiculous. All right, that takes us to the main event of the evening, which was the co-main event of the evening. First, Chavez Jr. doesn't make weight. Not even close. Giving up $100,000 to Anderson Silva, who could probably use that to buy a country in Brazil. Then he shows up to the fight thinking that his, I guess, hereditary boxing skill will be enough to take over. Okay, this is what I guess he forgot, so let's discuss it. Anderson Silva at one point was considered the pound for pound and GOAT of MMA.
Yep.
So
we talked
he was
about
on
this.
the cover. He's been on the cover of he was on the cover of everything at the peak of his superpower before Dana said, dude, you're a dick. I'm not going to do it. So Chavez Jr., I watched this fight so excitedly. So I'm going to give my complete review right here and get it over with. Okay, that's my review.
Oh,
and
shit.
who the fuck scored that fight at all for Chavez Jr.? Right? How bought was that fucking guy that there was one scorecard for Chavez Jr.? In fact, I'm quite convinced that there was a point. Tell me if I'm wrong, Miguel. I think Silva could have stopped him.
Well, I mean, I don't know. If Chavez Jr. has anything other than his pop's last name, he has his chin and he can take an ass whooping. So I don't think he'll be able to stop him. But I mean, it wouldn't have surprised me had that happened, honestly. But no, I don't think Anderson could have stopped him. No.
On the stool, I would have taken his stool stop.
Well, maybe
happily.
that. Maybe.
He's done that. He's proved
Yeah.
that he's a
Yeah,
bitch.
because
and
I
stopped
did
on a
see
stool.
Chavez complaining a little bit about the elbows, which Floyd uses all the fucking time, and then trying to like, no elbows here, Anderson, haha, very funny, LOL. It's like, no, he's just pushing him off the same way fucking Floyd does. Relax, that's all he's doing.
All right, Miguel, you watched it as intensely as I did. Yeah. Was there any bright spot for young Chavez Jr., who will go back to partying like a rock star and making stupid videos about his next comeback fight?
Look, Chavez, he has pop. He can throw. He can hurt. He just doesn't throw his fucking hands. He is not active enough. That's literally what it comes down to. He doesn't counter. He does move forward, but rarely does he initiate a damn exchange. And I think in the first round, he lunged in with like a overhand kind of left that like caught a Silva flush. It didn't hurt him as much, but I'm sure it had to do with the fact that it was the first round and Silva was still very fresh. So but it landed and it was hard. And I think if anything, the first round may have gone to Chavez just because of that. That was really the only real shot that landed in that round, and I think that round went to Chavez Jr. But I mean, if he doesn't let his hands go, nothing's going to happen. I saw that he landed that, and we're talking about a 40-some-odd-year-old, retired mixed martial artist over here. So I'm thinking, okay, well, he can't take a punch anymore. He has been knocked out several times in the last fights of his professional career. So if Chavez lands, he could knock him out. I'm thinking that, of course, right? But he threw that lunging left, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Okay, now he's going to let his hands go, and then that's it. And then that was it. So that was really the only spot. It's not that Chavez fucking can't pop. He's got the pop, right? He can land. This was a weight division heavier than he's probably ever fought in his professional boxing career. I'm talking about Chavez. So the punches aren't going to be as powerful as the smaller weight classes that he was in. But that was really the only high spot. Is just that fucking overhand left. But I mean, other than that, that was pretty much it. At that point, he just kind of, he threw a little bit here, threw a little bit there, a little bit of complaining to the ref. I mean, I think the judges were like looking at each other like, should we be giving this round to Chavez or do we actually give it to fucking Silva, who actually won? But I mean, that was really the only high spot that he had. I don't know. Silva did well. I mean, we are talking about Chavez Jr. here, but
he's a very disciplined dude. He's a very disciplined
he's a fighter.
Dude. He took it seriously.
Yeah, he took it seriously, and we talked about it, before this fight. Like, it would not surprise us if Silva ends up fucking winning this fight. And when I heard the scorecards, I was like, oh shit, he whooped his fucking ass. It wasn't like it was really more so that Chavez.
He had to whip his ass to get a decision.
Yeah, exactly.
He had to.
He had
in
to make
Mexico.
it pretty clear. And his punches weren't as powerful. I mean, there was a couple of what's his name? Chavez Jr. is like fair skinned, so anything on his face, any sort of smudges or something, can show up quite fast. So his eyes started to kind of like red and right. I think his nose was like slightly busted. But I mean, I'm like, all right, this is a pretty like entertaining fight for as long as it lasted. I mean, it did go the distance, but it was only, I think it was 8 rounds. I think it was. But hey, it was a good fight. Like, I was pretty entertained. I was loving seeing Chavez Jr. get his ass handed to him for 7 rounds or whatever. So it was fun, and I'm glad that Silva won, honestly.
There you go. Andrew LaPachet, you watched the highlights. You've waited a week to give me your comments on Chavez Jr. Fire away.
There's so much to go in here. Listen, the things you missed Lee to describe Anderson Silva was he's an athlete and he's a man. Chavez Jr. is neither of these. Chavez Jr. is not an athlete. His whole career, he's proved that with his failed drug tests, his DUIs, his coming in overweight, and he's a man-child. He's never gotten out of his father's shadow. He's always complaining about his dad and his lifestyle, and he complains to refs and he quits in corners. No, he's like a big brat. He's a baby. You guys don't give us enough credit. We told all of you, don't be surprised Anderson Silva beats him. Hello? We all said it. He's never prepared. Chavez used to be a boxer. He wanted to, I think, when he first got into this thing. He thought his daddy's skills were going to take him all the way. But somewhere down the line, maybe it was the Martinez fight. I don't know. He just loses it. He loses the fire. He doesn't have it anymore. He's not a boxer anymore. This guy comes in and cashes checks time after time again and gives his fans nothing. This was just another case of that. No, listen, Anderson Silva is not only a mixed martial artist, he's a kickboxer. And a kickboxer has hands. They know how to jab. They know how to throw a 1-2, the left hook. They know all that. So I'm not surprised that he went in there and beat the fucking man-child up. Anderson Silva.
Man-child.
Anderson Silva needs to realize what he has here. Anderson Silva needs to take boxing serious for about a year. He needs to build. Chavez Jr. was a super middleweight, light heavyweight contender like a year ago. He was in a professional fight. Build on that. Yeah, it might be an illusion. Yeah, it might not be real at all. And you build on it. Find yourself an opponent in the boxing ring that you could do this again to. I'm telling you, big money. Big money. This is something, Dana, this is what he doesn't want to happen. But Anderson right now can build off of this because Chavez not too long ago was a professional boxer and you just whooped his ass. And that was the only fight that I seen on the internet. I didn't even see the Omar and Canelo's brother, and they showed Canelo. That's sad for his brother that they showed his brother in the fucking stands before they showed his highlight. But it is what it is. Chavez Jr. Silva dominated this card on the news. Silva needs to follow up on this. Something McGregor missed out on. Hopefully Silva doesn't.
Well, okay, check this out. Chavez Jr. is now getting paid to get beat up by people. And that's a pretty good career, Andrew. I mean, I'm kind of into this. Who's going to be the first to knock him out? Like, there's a list of guys that can sign up around the middleweight to light heavyweight division to try to, like, that should be the title of every one of his cards. Try to knock me out. Like, it's like a carny game now. Who's going to be the first to knock him out?
No, when he got knocked out, who was it? Frontura? No. Who was the one that knocked him out at light heavyweight?
Yeah, Fonfara. Yeah.
And remember that, Lee, the next day he takes a picture from a private jet. This is what he always lived up for. He has fought and lost and made like $5 million that day losing. Now he might have gave $1 million up because he didn't make weight during that fight, but the payouts that Chavez Jr. has had in his career because of his name. Yeah, that's why he's there. The fact that he gave $100,000 to Anderson Silva in a fucking exhibition bout is a fucking what? Where did they get that money from?
Jesus Christ, how's he worth $10 million? He shouldn't be worth $5.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell?
Told you.
Yeah, I mean, he might as well strap a fucking logo that says Everlast on his chest because he's basically a punching bag at this point.
Wait, hold on. That's Chavez Sr.'s net worth. He's only worth $10 million. Hold on. Chavez Jr. net worth. Hold on.
Uh-oh. $30.
Probably. Like, it doesn't even make a full. Yeah, no, it's $10 million. He's worth $10 million. Well, he's not 58. You guys have this wrong. That kid is not 58. You got the old man. Chavez Jr. net worth $4 million.
Says he's a billionaire.
$4 million. $4 million.
One underneath says he's a billionaire, Lee.
Yeah.
Jeez.
$4 million. $4 million.
Still, when you think of his career, it's not bad. He has a lot
it's kind of monopoly money in Mexico, though. I got to be honest. $4 million, and I'm not being a jerk about this. $4 million in where he's in Culiacan, or he's like in Sinaloa, like he's with his dad. Like $4 million makes you rich in his town. Like he can live that life and do nothing. Oh, so great.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Can we talk about Canelo and fucking Chavez's corner?
Wait, hold on. Let's just say that I'm going to put it out there right now. Chavez Jr. is going to fight one of the Paul brothers. Everybody just get ready for it.
Oh, no.
And I'm picking the Paul brother in that fight, whichever one it is. Does one of them have better skill than the other? Because that would be my choice.
I think the one that just fought Floyd is the only one that has anything. He has got more than the other Paul brother, I think.
Okay, I want that one to fight because that's the ultimate insult where Chavez Sr. will actually commit suicide after the fight.
Yeah, Triller.
On the camera, he'll just walk up and pull out a gun and blow his head off.
I'm actually a little upset that Chavez Sr. said, I want them to retire if they're not going to prepare correctly. Don't give me fucking if. Just say you want them to fucking retire. Yeah. I'm done. The circus is over.
The thing is, they are preparing correctly as they can because they can't go any more correct. That's it. Like they're not that much talented.
Chavez Jr. built the fight thing in his garage or carport. I mean, He's doing the rubber bands and the tie bow in the house. Yeah, he's sweating to the oldies. He's doing everything
on his curb on his outside.
He's doing the dance thing on the pavers. He's trying. Bob, are you interested in signing him? No, I don't want Chavez Jr. Thank you, Bob. Oh my God, we could do a whole show on this fight. It's so fucking ridiculous. All right, one time around the horn on Senior just fucking melting down on the kids and the Canelo thing, and quote unquote, as Boxing Scene, Fight News, and everybody reported, passed the torch to Canelo, as though that's a real thing. Because I'll say it again, Senior has not been a fighter since he lost to Frankie Randall. Let's everybody take a deep breath. Then he took a bunch of money fights. So I start with you, Miguel. Do you feel as though the torch was passed last Saturday night?
The torch was passed long ago, I think. I mean, I think maybe officially, finally some recognition, because it's we know that the Mexicans are going to love Chavez Senior, like way more than they ever will Canelo. We already know this, right? We've already established this. So I think finally giving that official knighting or whatever the hell, Christian him, passing of the torch officially from Chavez's mouth. I think that kind of gives a little bit more credibility in Mexicans fans' eyes for Canelo. I mean, I think Chavez, of all the anonymous chicks that fucking Chavez Senior fucked back in his prime, I'm sure he's thinking, oh, I wish Canelo's mom was one of them. I wish you were really my kid. I really wish you were one of those chicks that I fucked back then. So I don't know. I mean, he gave him that hug, and then me and Andrew were texting earlier, like, where the hell are his boys? Where are Chavez's kids? Where's Junior and where's Omar? Like, they were nowhere to be seen there at the end when he was, he had him, he was giving them the hug, right? And Canelo was in his corner, in Chavez Senior's corner for the last round. He came into the ring, it was like a whole thing. It's like, what the hell? There should be his kids in there, not fucking Canelo. But he goes in there, huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, and he goes in there, right? And of course, Canelo like, fuck yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity. You best believe it. So he hops in there and he goes into his corner. And then after the fight's over, during like the post-fight interview in the ring, he's got Canelo like, arm in arm. And it's like, where the fuck? I don't give a rat's ass if both of his boys are like stitched up, bloody. They're gonna, in a wheelchair, they're gonna wheel themselves out to the fucking ring and be there for their pops' last fight.
Love me, Daddy.
Exactly.
Love me.
It's like,
love
your
me, Daddy.
You think?
I'm going to tell you, I bet you they were both in the back locker room blaming their dad for their careers.
No doubt. Okay, and Chavez Senior is going, your mothers were sperm collectors. That's it.
Yeah. However,
there's nothing hereditarily between the two of us. You have gotten none of my genetics. None.
Hey, and anyone who knows Chavez Jr.'s love for hating Canelo knows that was a slap in his face right to him put him in his corner. Chavez's been calling out Canelo for a while. Canelo kind of said he's a nobody. We just know that them two kind of know they don't like each other, and for the dad to do that, that was a slap in the son.
It was so good. It was so good. Everything about it was so good. Once again, I thought you couldn't get any better than the Dignity Healthcare fight where he was walking off and yelling at the camera and about ready to have a meltdown after that loss against a nobody at the time. It seems to be ramping up. Like, we're really getting close to him getting a gun and robbing a bank. Like, we're really right there. Like, I really feel that he is so close to doing something epically stupid. And I just want to be there to cover it when it happens. Moving forward. Donito versus Joel Casimiro. There you go, Andrew. You like that?
Casimiro. There you go.
Casimiro. He's from, it is John, so it's close to Joel. Real. Face off of the WBC Bantamweight champion. It's already been said by Naoya Inoue, the monster. He will fight the winner to unify the title. It is kind of a non-fight. It's just a WBC Bantamweight contender. Are you guys excited that we're getting closer and closer to another unified champion? I start with you, Miguel.
Yeah, I am. I mean, like the fact that this allows us to have one champion, per. I mean, every like you said, this is a step closer to having one champion in every weight division. And Casemiro is no joke. He's got some pop. You know what I'm saying? He's not fucking Manny by any stretch, but the dude's got some pop and he's legit. And it's gonna be a firefight when he gets in the ring with Donaire. They're both gonna throw down. So this is, even though nobody pays attention to the smaller guys, I get that. But if you pay attention to any of the smaller guys, this fight itself is going to be pretty fucking sick because these guys are going to go in there throwing bombs. I can guarantee that.
We get Andrew.
Yeah, Donaire. Are we talking Donaire, Casemiro?
Yeah. Casemiro and Naoya and honestly, what we're looking at is another undisputed champion, which in boxing seems to kind of be a thing right now. People are really into it thanks to Josh Taylor showing off to everybody, going, "Yeah, it's cool. You can be an undisputed champion. It's a thing. You can do it
when everybody cooperates."
Yeah.
Yeah, you need guys that actually want to fight each other, but we'll get into that soon. Yeah, I just want Donaire to get through his little title. Both guys get through their little title defenses because, if I'm not mistaken, I think Inoue has to do one too, and then the rematch. The first fight deserves a rematch. So no matter if it's a unification match or not, I think in a way Donaire was a exciting enough fight to bring it back together and make another huge payday for both guys. So yeah, I'm for it, and I hope he. Did you guys catch? Do we have the Donaire's wife's tweets to Casemiro?
No.
Oh, what?
No. Jesus, Andrew, you got breaking news while I Google that shit.
So she's like Donaire's, I think, manager now or something. She's like running his career right now. And it's funny that after the first fight of her being a part of it, and then she gets on the Twitter.
Rachel Donaire. All right. The knockout queen at knockout_queen, as I put them up as quick as I can. She's hot. There is no way in real life, if he wasn't a fighter, that he would get that one.
Seen Donaire's wife, bro?
I've seen that girl in person.
She's hot.
I've seen her at a fight. She's a baddie, man. Yeah. I've seen that girl in person.
Wow. All right. Wow. By the way, shout out to Nonito, who we've had on the show a million times. Good for you, bro. Good for you. Let's see. Where is it?
She's also an athlete. She was big, and I think she used to model for, it was at FHM. I want to say she used to model.
Oh, come on. I got to look up real photos of her now, Andrew. Why would you say that shit? Now the show's on a tangent.
I don't think Nonito minds. That's, he's been with her for years. The mother.
Let's click the word nude and see what we get. Well, there's pregnant photo. Oh, sorry, you can't see the screen. Miguel, you can see it, right?
I can absolutely see it.
Yeah, okay. She went by Rachel Marciella, or whatever it was before.
Show's over.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn it, Andrew.
He's got to go to the bathroom real quick.
There she is. I'm going to have to walk out of my hotel and go see what's going on out there. I got to be 18 and older? Okay. I will be ex-hamster.
Oh, my gosh. Lee.
Good for you, Nonito. God damn it.
Right,
oh, my God. Look at this. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
Sorry, Lee.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So she got into a Twitter battle with Casemiro, however the fuck you say his name. And it was pretty cool.
The fight is Casemiro's camp against Donaire's wife. Get involved with the lady into a man's business. Okay, sit down before 2022 mob comes and gets you. So Raymond, somebody comment, like, she's snapping back to actually Twitter people who are like, what's your problem? I'll fucking kick your ass too. I like this woman. How do I get one of these?
Is she trying to start shit, like expecting Nonito to finish the business for her?
I don't think she has to. She looks like a badass too. I mean, I kind of dig her. Oh,
she was good at Taekwondo. Is that, hey, Miguel, do you know she was pretty bad in one of the arts, mixed martial arts?
Oh, was she? I'm familiar with her modeling. I mean, that's pretty much about it. But maybe.
Mrs. Donaire, stop spreading your lies on John Ariel Casimiro. Huge with Vada knockout coming off your man. Then what is your excuse, real Filipino, that she retweeted? To which she responded, smoke and mirrors round 2. Asked this since Tuesday. They said didn't have papers. They're online. Oh shit, she's all over this, man. Like she's
Well, she's like his
snapping back on
managers.
Suleiman and Sean Gibson. Oh my god. So
That's
Sean Gibson,
Suleiman?
if
What's
you
that?
don't know, represents fighters here in Vegas with Knucklehead Boxing. She snapped back on him. She snapped back on Suleiman. She's on everybody for this VADA testing thing that they got going. Wow. Oh, she's all over this. She's on top of Sean. She's on top.
Lee,
I'm
if
in love
you
with
look
her.
what
I'm in
starts
love
it-
with her, Andrew.
Lee, what starts it is like someone, a rumor. We didn't take a picture with him. That's what triggers. That's what starts this whole thing. If you keep going down, it's like, really? Damn, that guy. That
Retweeted
fucking
Rachel
warmed up
Donaire
to the-
10,
What?
Casimiro 7. Wow.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, she's retweeting, like she's starting a war with Steve Kim. She's starting, like she's fucking awesome. She's made her husband into a PBC fighter by her tweets. I mean, sweetie, I am in love with you. I'm just putting it out there right now. You are manager of the year. I'm saying it right now. I will never say bad things about.
She tells him in the pool what he's gonna do next. He's like,
Yeah, no, this is the woman who tells her man, this is how you're gonna fuck me. And you're gonna do it right. Okay?
yeah.
But honey, I've been training for 18 hours for the next fight. Shut up.
Yeah. Fuck your VADA testing.
So great. Bob, do you have a comment? I'm hiring her. Thank you, Bob. Whew. Pacquiao Spence ticket alert. 8 division world champion Philippine Senator Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao and undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight champion who will never be undisputed, by the way, because it's just not going to happen. Errol the True Spence will meet in a blockbuster at the T-Mobile Arena on August 21st, which is right around the same time as Wilder, and they're really fucking up my life schedule with this whole crazy shit. But I'll submit it's probably going to be Magnum Media as well. So I'll put it out there. Andrew, surprised it's being held in Vegas at the T-Mobile?
The T-Mobile. I mean, yes, that's where I'm surprised. I don't know when Mark's gonna get his fucking stadium's virginity took in, but I don't know. You would think Manny Pacquiao demands a ticket. That's the biggest seat in Las Vegas right now, and it's fresh. It's new. No one's done it. You think someone would want to be the first person to get their banner on that stadium. So yeah, I'm very surprised that the last 2 big fights have been being announced at the T-Mobile. Yes, sir.
There you go. Miguel Antonio Barragan. Barragan. Sorry, I let him roll the R's. Hey, I gotta roll the R's. My bad.
You're doing well. Yeah, I mean, like I Manny has fought in Texas in the Arlington Stadium or AT&T Stadium,
Yeah.
whatever that's called, right? And Spence is from Texas, so I kind of thought maybe the fight was going to land there. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it's landing here and not the Allegiant Stadium, that is definitely a shocker. I'm not sure if we're going to get into this later. If there's another story down the line in regards to this fight actually going down or not. So it's just
No, go ahead.
dropping a hint.
I don't because apparently Fight News no longer covers boxing.
Before you jump into that, can I Lee, one thing that has to be brought up about Allegiant Stadium was their roads in and out of that place. They were supposed to be like $1 billion.
You're back on that one again. Yeah. Okay. I like this. You brought it up a week ago. Go for it.
Because Lee, there's a reason why these fights aren't going to the stadium, and one of them could be, I don't know if you guys are out there, if you could drive by the stadium, but they said they had like $1 billion of upgrades that needed to be done around that stadium to have the necessary in and out access for emergency personnel, cops, fire stations, all of this. I don't know if the stadium's ever done that. It went into a pandemic. construction really got shut down for a long time. Vegas was already bitching about taking up that bill. They wanted Mark to split some of it. Mark didn't want to. I don't know if it's ever been done, and maybe
it has. And I'm out here right now, right by it. And I was talking to somebody who is a Vegas ninth season holder, and he was saying, I don't know what's going to happen there. Nobody seems to know what's going to happen when you have a full stadium there. Like, they all worked it out for T-Mobile, for the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, there's enough parking around the strip to pull it off, but 80,000 is a different number. Like, that's a real... Like, they have a real, like, even when they were doing things out at the college stadium, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of fucking people.
And Lee, it's not like boxing can't pull this off. We've seen the big fights in Las Vegas pull off 100,000. We've seen the fight shut down casinos that were holding them. You couldn't even get into the casino floor to gamble because it was packed to capacity. Boxing will turn out that fan base. It's weird that they were allow a Pacquiao and then the heavyweight championship fight that broke the record last time out. The last time Fury Wilder fought, it broke Las Vegas's record. It's just weird that Mark's not getting these. I wonder what the NFL got Las Vegas to bend their rules on that the boxing world can't get Vegas to, and maybe that's what's holding up Mark Davis from actually holding one of these huge fights.
And everybody keeping track, that would be the second consecutive week Andrew's talked about ingress and egress to the new stadium, if you're keeping track at home. So don't get it twisted. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. No, I hear you. And I'm literally right by the stadium. That's where I stay when I'm in Vegas by myself for work. Were you looking at my Google Calendar, Miguel, to see my sadness? Did you hear me actually audibly sigh when I went, oh, yeah. I'm in St. Louis. Yeah. I guess I could go see the Counting Crows instead of going to the... Yeah.
Miguel's got breaking news. Let him get that, because
go ahead, break your news. We'll get back to my sadness of I'm gonna have to cancel an event. Like, I'm really torn. Counting Crows, working in St. Louis, or Counting Crows. How do you not know this about me?
No, I know this. I just
yeah. You've been around long enough to know that obsession.
I know that. Oh yeah.
Man, this is a tough one, right? Like, this is a toughie in my break your news.
Breaking news.
I'll sit here and debate it.
Manny Pacquiao being sued by this fucking Paradigm Sports Management, this dude Audi Attar, who is he represents a bunch of people, including Conor McGregor and I think even Mikey Garcia, suing them for like $3 million and for breach of contract and trying to set up some sort of injunction for this Errol Spence and Pacquiao fight. So who the hell knows how far this is going to go? But yeah, from what I can tell here, it looks like he is trying to sue Manny for something.
Okay.
Breach of contract.
It's a tough one, Miguel. Let's go back to me. This is all about me. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm in Chicago, which is lots of fun. Like, fly back on Friday and, like, just go straight to Vegas? Man, that's tough. I mean, I'll have come off 2 weeks.
If things turn out the way that we think and the fight doesn't actually go down because of this fucking lawsuit, maybe you don't have to make that choice.
Well, if it even gets to move to Macau, I'd probably go to Macau, man. I'm just telling you that this... Oh, well.
Wouldn't be the first time Manny Pacquiao loses a brief of contract lawsuit either.
Oh, yeah, no. He's 0-2 on that, I believe.
Manny definitely signs things all the time that he can't make true to his word.
Bob used to make a... Bob, do you want to comment on it? The guy signed shit. What can I say? Thank you, Bob. Interesting, Bob. Biggest news of the past week. Anthony Hearn. Yeah, we're going to do it. Hearn, Joshua Usyk, September 25th. It's on like Donkey Kong. There's a retro terminology for you kids. It's on like Donkey Kong. They're going to do it. WBO mandatory challenger Alexander Usyk will fight Anthony Joshua. And literally the boxing world, I'll give you a nutshell of everybody's comment. Anthony Joshua has to knock out Alexander Usyk. This is literally what everybody has said. I'm going to capsulize 5 different fighters. Anthony Joshua has to knock him out, or Usyk will take a decision. That is literally what everybody on this fight has had to say about it. So we talked about it. It's trap season now. Is this the end of Wilder versus Joshua? There's so much to unpack here. I'll start with you, Miguel.
Well, that I might have to lean towards that, like what you were saying in the beginning with Joshua having to KO Usyk. I don't see how he's going to be able to outbox the naturally smaller, naturally quicker Olympian, I think it was. So I don't see that happening. I mean, he looked amazing against a fat, slow Ruiz. So I mean, like, it didn't exactly. I mean, we saw a different side of AJ, which was that in itself was impressive. He came in here with a different plan. He went into that fight a little bit lighter as far as weight goes, and he came and he had the perfect game plan against Ruiz in the rematch. I don't think he's going to be able to pull that off against Usyk. Yeah, I absolutely think he's going to have to KO Usyk in order for him to walk away with the victory. What was the second part of the question? I think that was it.
That's it.
Oh,
okay. Andrew, what do you think?
We haven't seen the power yet. What Anthony Joshua's power does to Usyk when it lands. It's very well that Usyk might be winning on points and loses because of knockdowns if the power of AJ is real. So there's that side of this fight that he could win on just simply being the bigger man. Skill-wise, Usyk's a favorite. Overall, Anthony Joshua still has to be the favorite. I think going into this fight, he's probably up by 2 points on the scorecards right now because of the money that is set to be made by Eddie Hearn and Joshua. You got to think Eddie Hearn is trying to get these judges on his side. So Joshua should be a favorite going into this fight. It's a scary fight for him. It's a trap fight. It's everything you guys are describing. But he should be able to win this. He's supposed to be the heavyweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champ, the guy that took out Klitschko for real. I know Fury beat him on decision, but Joshua's fight, that fight was just so exciting. The way it played out.
That was the torch passing. That was a torch passing fight.
Yeah, man. He's supposed to be the next big thing. So with that being said, you go in there and you handle Usyk in a 12-round fight. It might be hard. Might be down on the cards at some point in this fight, but at the end, Joshua should win, and we move on, hopefully, to the biggest heavyweight fight the UK's ever put on.
God damn it, Miguel. I'm in fucking Atlanta for that fucking... I can't even go to London for that fucking thing. And then I got to come back to Vegas for a trade show to speak there. God damn it. Damn you, eviction moratorium. Which got extended only 30 days. Could you guys have pushed it off till the end of the year? Fuck.
might as well.
Well, I guess I got to go back to work. Daddy got to work. All right, moving forward. WBC flyweight champion Julio Cesar Martinez returns to boxing and wants to challenge everybody in that weight class because, wow, that flyweight division is so goddamn exciting because everybody gets named pound for pound. Let's start here. I know for sure Miguel watched this fight. What do you think about Martinez dropping into the wonderful flyweight world?
I mean, it was fun. It was a fun fight. It was a banger, as they call them, right? It was a slobber knocker. They were throwing, hands.
Slobber knocker.
It was pretty obvious that his opponent was really no match for him. I mean, he did well. What's the guy's name? I forgot. It's like Cordova, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did what he could. You could tell that his punches weren't doing anything against Martinez, and it doesn't matter how many times he was landing. There was like one time that I think he kind of knocked Martinez off balance, and for a quick second, I thought he might have stunned him, but it was pretty obvious that he had no power, and he was flopping all over the place, man. Martinez has this weird, like almost like Chiquita Gonzalez kind of like throw from the hip kind of punches where he kind of has his hands down and he throws with both hands simultaneously and shit, and he has this like quick twitch muscle where you just don't see where the punch comes, and his reaction time is so fast. He takes punches, which I don't like, honestly, but his power, man, it's crazy. The dude's got some pop, and you don't really see where it's from. He just kind of lunges, throws the punch, and automatically the dude goes down. And I kind of figured this fight wasn't going to go the distance because Cordova was getting like stuck like hella times, but it was a fun fight. He's a flyweight champ, which is I think 112. To fight the big names, he's gonna probably have to move up to 115 to super flyweight, and maybe even the jump to 118 if needed, bantamweight if needed.
And they're talking about that. He's giving out the laundry list of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Eddie Hearn was doing yesterday as well. I mean, I don't know. That might be too much of a leap going to 118, but 115 I think is definitely doable, and a lot of opportunity there, a lot of big name fights, and I think more than unifying belts at flyweight, I think.
the discussion that we're discussing, the discussion of the discussing of flyweights still, because some dumb asshole at some point said Chocolatito Gonzalez was the pound for pound champion. Now we cover everything that weighs, and I am not making a joke about this. People who weigh exactly as much as I shit on a given day. And I kind of lean towards many boxing pundits. How are we having this discussion about these guys?
when
Andrew,
here in Tracy, we have these rodeo arenas, I guess, or little stadiums.
Yes, we have one in Pico Rivera. It's called the Pico Rivera.
It's better venue than where this young man fought last night. When I seen the venue, I seen the weight limit, I just lost interest. Yes, he was overmatched. It was a good fight as far as they threw a lot of punches, but man, DAZN, you really put a fucking fight on in just a wreck of a place it looked like. And I was like, where the hell are these two guys fighting? You know, what did that cost you? Fucking
Pico
100.
Rivera, by the way, keep an eye out, everybody, because Pico Rivera is already back online for fights again. DAZN is going to cover a fight in the Pico Rivera rodeo arena, where the only other thing that I've ever seen, because I grew up in that area, is like bandas. Is it bandas americana? Did I get it right, Miguel?
Yeah, you got it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have the.
Thank you.
We
Like
have
I grew up in the
Japanese-
hood, huh?
Yeah.
I think we have the horses, and then they have like fake bullfighting. I don't think,
Yes, yes, and it's all just run down. That's where we used to go to drink beer. That's how run down it is.
It's like the bathrooms are like one big ass stall.
Yes.
Individual toilets.
Actually, the bathrooms are better than what were in Qualcomm Stadium. I can say that officially.
I'd rock a Cowboys hat if I went to one. No problem.
Oh. A ranchero.
with a piece of straw in your mouth.
Oh my God, Andrew, in that look. Lomachenko stops Nakatani in 9. Yes, the return of Lomachenko. Did Lee want to spend $75 because they're still not bringing regular press back? No, Lee didn't, because I couldn't see a goddamn reason to go to this fight other than to watch it on ESPN. So a guy that I honestly thought he should have knocked out in 3 rounds based on how thin and tall and like frail this guy looked. Took him 9 rounds. So everybody's saying that Lomachenko's back. Take a deep breath. All right. He's not talking Teofimo. Bob's not talking Teofimo. They're talking about everybody but Teofimo for Lomachenko. So I start with you this time, Andrew. Do you feel that Lomachenko is back, or is he past his prime?
There should be a little alarm that goes off when it says Lee didn't watch the fight.
There should be.
Because Lee, there was a freaking the whole night. All ESPN was worried about was Lomachenko says Teofimo Lopez's name too much. Right? Am I lying, Miguel?
Yeah. No, they wouldn't let that shit go.
He's obsessed. Yeah, they're acting like he's obsessed with the Lopez rematch. Now look it.
And they didn't, and that's not what the news is. The news is about everybody but Lopez because Bob doesn't want Lopez to fight him.
Yeah, Nakatani is a very durable fighter. He's one of he's one of these Japanese men that take a hell of a beating. Look, when I lost a little bit of faith in what this fight was actually going to show me about Lomachenko is when they told us he's broken his orbital bone twice in his last 2 fights.
Right, dude, 9 rounds to put this fucking guy down.
Yeah, hey Lee, that right there, and then all of a sudden it just opened up like the Red Sea. All you see is Lomachenko's left hand never misses. It never misses, bro. It's the right eye that's been broken twice, and Lomachenko can't miss with his left. I was like, this is, man.
It was a one-sided goddamn beatdown, and it still took him 9 rounds to knock a tree down.
Hey, listen, the guy's chin-wise, though, Lee, he's solid. He's a solid fighter. I was impressed with the combinations of Lomachenko. I was impressed with the power. Like Lomachenko's hand speed, his combinations, they all looked there. But you guys, his eye's been operated on twice in the last 2 fights. Like, I don't know. We don't really
look like Tim Bradley. I feel bad for Nakatani. He's gonna look like Tim Bradley with like an eye rolling to the side of his head.
if he keeps taking punishment to an eye that's very weak already because of 2 operations, yes, it is going to start getting bad for him as he gets older. As soon as they said it, man, you see right away Lomachenko doesn't miss once. I think he was landing over 60% of his power punches. Like, fuck.
I'm over the Lomachenko experiment. I am. He's too old. I'm done.
This is one of the dark sides of boxing that people don't know about, where matchmakers sometimes they can do things that make a fighter look special when you don't know the injuries that these men sustained going into the ring. Back in the day, it was hardly reported like it is today. Today, we get the reports from guys like the ESPN commentary that say it out during the fight, or maybe a video, or like we were talking from the hospital itself. Oh, dislocated this, got this broken, this and this. So we're seeing it a lot more than I think we did back in the 90s, 80s, and earlier, where guys would not report their injuries because they, seriously, we don't care if people fucking feel sorry for us that we lost the fight. They wanted to make more money. They wanted to keep making a check. Today, when people lose, they want to go on social media and give a fucking excuse and don't feel sorry for me, but I broke my eye. Don't feel sorry for me, but I broke my hand. Look at my hand's broken. That before, people didn't fucking care. They wanted you to come back to pay for their tickets.
Oh, hold on. Joining us from Bob, get your feet off my bed. Joining us from my hotel room is Top Rank Bob with his assessment of the fight. All right, Bob, you've waited all day for this. What do you got?
Listen, don't sleep on Nakatani. He's a talent.
Bob, the fight's over already.
Oh, did he lose?
Yeah, Bob, he lost. Bad. Got beat up. Broke probably his eye again.
Yeah, this is a fucked up eye. That's why I picked him.
Get your feet off my bed, Bob. Miguel Antonio Barragan, what did you learn about specialized or mechanical or whatever the fuck his nickname is this week, Lomachenko? High tech.
There you go. Yes, the Matrix.
High tech.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if I can go as far as to say that he's back. I mean, he looked in his previous.
Well, if you ask Tim Bradley, he's back.
Yeah, right. Well, Tim Bradley, I mean, come on. But he looked great, of course, against Nakatani. He tried to make a point, and he mentioned this. He said, "I'm gonna go after the dude who just whooped Verdejo's ass, and what gave Teofimo his toughest fight prior to him." So he's like, "I'm gonna make a point to make an example out of him," and he did. He went out there, but as we mentioned, he has had Nakatani's had that issue with the orbital bone. He continues to fight. It's gonna end up happening again. He's gonna continue having issues with that. I mean, it's probably already damaged. Even if he retires now, it's not gonna be the same. Even worse if he continues fighting. But we saw, if forgetting the pop, forgetting the power, forgetting the punches, we did see a more active Lomachenko. We did see that footwork again. We saw that. So in that sense, yeah, I do think that he is back. He's going to need, I don't know if he's going to want to go into an immediate rematch with Teofimo. Teofimo's got, his fight with Kambosos coming up. And then that's going to be, I think, August, if I'm not mistaken. And then, whenever the hell this next fight comes up. So is Lomachenko going to take a fight in between now and then, if that fight actually comes to fruition or not? But I mean, in that sense, I kind of feel like, yeah, Lomachenko is back. He's this is his first fight back from losing his titles. He fought against a guy who gave Teofimo his toughest fight up until that point. So he tried to make an example of him, and I think he did. I wasn't surprised that the fight went the 9 rounds because, as Andrew said, Nakatani is durable as shit. Like, that dude can take an ass whooping. Even in the fight with Verdejo, he got dropped, I think twice, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And then he came back and he finished Verdejo. So the guy is very durable. I did think maybe he was going to go 12 rounds with Loma. I thought maybe Loma was going to come out a little bit more cautious. This is his first fight after the surgery, after his loss. He's going to come out and just get rounds in there, right? Because he's been out of the ring for a while. And he came in there and he threw down with Nakatani. And it was obvious that he was too fast for Nakatani, because Nakatani was doing his damnedest to tie up Lomachenko as much as he possibly could. He was just moving, lateral movement was just way too fast. He basically had to grab Lomachenko and keep him in one spot in order for him to try to land anything. There were a couple of times where he threw body shots to Loma, and I'm not sure if some of them strayed a little bit low, but I think that's That's a key with Lomachenko. I think if the rematch comes with Teofimo and Loma, I think going to the body on Loma is going to be the number one thing that will hinder his movement. And I think that was kind of where Nakatani was going with those shots, because he was throwing some like sweet right hooks, like right to the solar plexus. And I think a couple of times he stopped Lomachenko. But anyway, it was a good fight. I loved it. Oh,
Lee.
Yes.
Lee. Give him the fucking bam, bam, bam. Give it to him.
Don't get it twisted.
Right,
You need your own drop line, dude.
Listen, Miguel hit it right on the head. That's the blueprint on Lomachenko. Now it might not have been the blueprint 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but right today, hit him to his body. Lopez started it. They seen it weaken him. They seen that's what wins him the 12th round. I thought Miguel totally right on that.
Even Campbell, even Luke Campbell cracked him in the gut and stopped him dead in his fucking tracks too.
Yeah, yesterday, man, there was times where he lifted him off the mat.
80.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. That's why, Lee, that's why I started off with that's the blueprint today. At this age of where Lomachenko is, you go to his body and you don't stop going to his body. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. And yeah, Miguel, you're right on that one. That's Teofimo needs to go there, stay there, and he probably stops him within 12.
Yeah.
Bob, what do you think about Lomachenko's body?
It's made of glass.
Thanks, Bob.
Know when
Can
to
we
pull
talk
it.
about the announcing
I
crew
wanted to
just for a
stop it as soon
split
as you
second?
said it. I just didn't know when to do it.
Well, yeah, you got to come up with your own little catchphrase, like "Catch me outside." How about that? Anything you can come up.
How about that?
How about that? Can we talk about the announcing crew for a minute? Is it just me, or because Andre Ward's now talking about coming back to boxing and like the only names that'll interest him, and he's becoming more and more distant from the rest of the crew? Yeah, he did. He actually gave out a name on one of the reports I saw over the past couple of weeks, but he's talking about it again. But the reason I bring it up, Andre Ward seems more distant. Tim Bradley seems to have Bob in his ear going, "Do more of that. Whatever that shit is you're saying, that's crazy." And the other two guys, who I gotta be honest, I realized that I gave a lot of shit to HBO for hiring Max Kellerman. Max is a fucking rocket scientist compared to the quote unquote experts that Top Rank and ESPN have put together. I apologize openly. This is a big moment on the show. I apologize to Max Kellerman. Your nerdness is better than whatever fucking drugs. What's his name? The dude who does cocaine. Why do I always black out with his name, Miguel?
Kriegel. Mark Kriegel.
Kriegel.
Oh, Kriegel.
If it isn't written on a script for Kriegel, when Andrew and I saw him in Fresno, I'm like, that dude has 40 pages to do an intro to this fight. Like, he literally had a stack of papers. His suit was so tight that it looked like you could, like, literally, like Poindexter tight. He looks literally like Bob stuck a broom handle up his ass before they sent him out to the camera. I'm not saying the dude does drugs, allegedly, but he is so goddamn wound up. And he doesn't know shit beyond his script. And I don't know how Kriegel got that spot. I mean, I get it. Max Kellerman was a nerd, right? Wow.
I totally agree with you. I'm stuck on the first thing you said. Listen, Andre Ward would be a poor man's Sugar Ray Leonard if he comes back and faces
anyone.
Canelo.
Yeah, I know.
Do Marvelous Marvin. You come out of retirement and take on the champ.
Andre Ward would kill Canelo. I'm saying it right now. I'm putting it out there. If Andre Ward came back to fight Canelo,
I know he's 5 years out the game. 6.
Well, did we just lose Andrew outright? Like
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Jesus, he had a heart attack.
No, I'm walking around and my thing, my microphone got stuck on the edge and then unplugged real quick.
That's okay.
So I'm back.
I mean,
man, I'm stuck on that fight.
Right?
Listen, that is Canelo's savior to his career right now. If he was to somehow get Andre Ward to come out, do one warm-up fight, and then these two Canelo's not undefeated, but these two champions get into the ring and face off, that's a huge fight for Canelo.
You call it the modern GOAT fight. That's a modern day GOAT fight. I mean, we've said it on the show.
Yeah.
Andre Ward is the greatest modern era fighter, period. I don't give a shit what you guys say. Okay? Right? Everybody disputed it with his close fight, and then he turns around and comes back and literally destroys, right? Like he hasn't lost since the age of what, Andrew? 13? 12?
Yeah, 11, I think.
13, 14.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, they talked about it last night. Yeah,
I think Joe Tessitore got it wrong or something, and then what's his name corrected it. Like I think Ward corrected him. Like, no, it was 11. Like, okay.
It was 11. Like, I haven't lost since the age of 11.
Never lost a boxing match since, and that's going through the Olympics, man. That's going through the Olympics.
Getting more irritated by the minute with the announcing team, and he hangs out with Tim Bradley. I've been to the fights. Like, the two of them hang out. And it seems like he's even like, I don't know what fucking Tim Bradley's smoking.
Yeah, they disagree a lot, which I kind of like, actually. It's kind of cool that they're not all on the same page, basically rating off each other's notes and shit like that. I like the fact that they disagree, but sometimes it gets a little, much. Sometimes I wonder what
you got to watch his face. You really got to watch his facial expressions on the telecast. Like, he makes weird faces when people say crazy shit. Like, he does this, like, his head kind of pops back and his eyebrows go above his head when people like Kriegel or even Bradley say something fucking insane, and he's becoming disenfranchised with that whole announcing thing. Like, he doesn't want to be a part of the circus. He wants to talk serious boxing.
Ward is the closest we have to what boxing commentators used to be, though. He's an intelligent speaker. He knows the game. Usually his insight on the fight is right at the end. He's very good at doing that.
And he still has his marbles. He hasn't got taken an ass
whooping like a lot
of the other fighters.
Tim Bradley.
Yeah. Last night on the DAZN card, I don't know if you guys watched the DAZN card with Martinez, but they had the whatever the WWE guy's name is, I forgot his name, and then they had Jesse Vargas as the commentator. Like that's what they had. They didn't have Mora. They didn't have anybody else. They didn't have Chris Mannix. They just had this dude. I can't think of his name. Josh something. And then they had Jesse Vargas, which it was all right. It wasn't great, but it was all right.
It's like when they get PBC fighters to do color for their fights, and they sound like fucking morons. Gervonta Davis returns, fights a guy named Barrios, goes up 2 weight classes to do it, and quote unquote, because that's just the way LRB rolls. Yeah, the dude, Barrios doesn't even have to make weight. It doesn't matter. We didn't have a weight class on him. That's an actual report. Like, he just basically had to show up. Gervonta Davis, who we've shit on repeatedly, decides to move up 2 weight classes to now hold the WBA 130, 135, and 140. By the way, 5 pounds apiece. Let's everybody take a deep breath. If this were MMA, you got to drop 15 pounds to go take another fucking weight class. Like, boxing is the only thing where you can go, 5-pound increments.
Yeah.
5
pounds.
I mean, from flyweight to super flyweight, we're talking about fucking 3 pounds.
12-round fight.
Yeah, I get it. Andrew, did you give Gervonta the time of day?
Yes, I was able to catch the fight. My outlook on Gervonta hasn't changed. The power's real. The hand speed is good. I still doubt his defense and his chin once he starts fighting real champions. They brag a lot about Gervonta Davis being I think it was a 5-time champ in 3 divisions. And while that's true, I think one of his belts he only has to regain because he loses it on a scale in the previous fight. He doesn't lose a fight, but he loses his belt because he doesn't make weight. So it's not like he unified or anything like that to get that second belt in that division. So while I'm impressed with him going to 140 and beating a Mario Barrios, who's really unknown to even the diehard boxing fans. It was still a very big achievement because Barrios had a lot of advantages going in, the height, the reach, just naturally bigger. He did good. They had him, very competitive fight early on, but the power of Gervonta Davis is real. He's like a, little mini power puncher. They're calling him the little mini Mike Tyson. And every time he hit Barrios, it seemed like he hurt him. He hurt him way more than Barrios' punches were having the effect on Davis, although there was a lot of times where Barrios was able to land shots. And that's where I'm still real skeptical about Gervonta being the future of this sport. One, I've never liked the way he talks. It already sounds like at 26, his speech is slurred. His fighting kind of proves it because he is a tank. He takes head movement, really not a lot of it, takes the punches and just tries to knock you out. And I hope he doesn't turn into a single punch fighter. He did a lot of that last night. That's what happens when these guys start falling in love with their power. And believe me, he's knocked out a lot of fighters here in recent time to where he's starting to fall in love with his power. So I liked all that. But when I broke down Gervonta's career last night, because, I mean, the internet just, 5-time champ, GOAT, pound for pound, all this bullshit.
Well, Wilder's not around anymore, so they've got to put the Bombsy squad somewhere. Why not Gervonta?
That is real. That's a real thing. Listen, all fan bases go through this. When Chavez Sr., I was going to say passed, when he retired, everybody was like, Barrera, Morales, every Mexican, Miguel Angel Gonzalez, Yuri Boy Compas, like every Mexican fighter that came out that was undefeated was the next fucking Chavez Sr. I mean, these things, yes, that's totally true. Pacquiao will go through the same thing with the Filipinos when Pacquiao's all said and done. So yeah, while Floyd went into retirement, I do think his fan base is they got a big desire right now to get a fighter into that, to back again. And man, when I looked at Davis's record, it says 3-division champ. I looked at his division at 130, and he fought Petraza, who was undefeated at the time. That's a solid champion that he beat. Are you guys still with me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Lee, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, of course. I'm listening to you on a rant.
He beat Petraza. That's a very good champ. He beat Cuellar. Is that how you say his name?
Cuellar. It's 2 L's. So it's like a Y. Yeah.
Yeah, they said he beat him. So these are 2 good champs, but when he goes up and fights not Yuri Boy, look at me. Eureka Gamboa for a vacant title, that is not a champ. Eureka Gamboa is not a fucking champ. There's nothing there, dude. That's a give me a belt title. When he comes back to lightweight, he can fight anybody. At 130, Gervonta Davis has been the champ now twice. He has multiple title defenses. He's supposed to be the face. He gives his fans a fucking featherweight. Who's the Mexican kid he fought under him? He knocked out first.
Oh, Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. He gives us Santa Cruz at 130 when he could have fought there's Miguel Burcho, there's Oscar Valdez, there's Jamal Herring, there's all these other champs that are solid champs. You give your fans a guy not even in the division. So you could say, he wasn't at the right time to fight. Bullshit. When he fights Santa Cruz, he could pick anybody in that division at that time. He doesn't do it. He goes to lightweights. They give him Eureka Gamboa. He fights none of the upcoming lightweights. He doesn't fight Loma. Nobody moves up and fights Barrios 2 divisions away. I'm holding back on pound for pound. I'm holding back on the future. Before he's the future, you got to beat one of the real champs in your division. Don't give me these Mickey Mouse titles and then post all online, I'm a 5-division champ, when really you had the opportunity at 130 to unify with some awesome champs. Herring, probably even Burcho and Valdez. You had that opportunity. You don't take any of those. You go to lightweight. You're skipping all those guys. They want no part of that lightweight division, and they go up and fight Mario Barrios, who seriously, Barrios. There's not too much you can say when you break down Barrios's record. And then it was funny. Do any of you guys else have this problem? Every time they called them La Azteca or stuff, all I kept seeing was the dude from Friday After Next going, Aztec Warriors, man. That's all I kept thinking about every time they said that kid's name, man. So that's what I took from that fight.
Bam, 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 bam. That's a big take for a PBC fight. I move over to you, Miguel. What have you got?
Well, I've got all that, but I mean, a lot of the stuff that Andrew was saying, I don't think I mean, I agree because, like, let's keep in mind that Barrios is not the legitimate WBA champ at the weight division, right? So he was carefully chosen, cherry picked to go up against Gervonta. It's obvious what they're doing. I think I want to say Leonard Ellerby was asked about potentially fighting Josh Taylor after this fight, and Leonard gave some sort of rambling ass answer about how many tickets Gervonta sells compared to fucking Taylor, and fighting these names that actually sells out arenas and all this shit. It's like, dude, so then why the fuck are you fighting Barrios then? Like, why are you even go that route to begin with? Like, it's obvious what they were doing. They're trying to get after another belt. This is the regular belt of the 140-pound division, whatever the shit that means. So, he's not going after the legitimate champs. He's going after these, sorry to say, Barrios, these paper champs, just guys, regular champs. Like, enough of this, regular silver, interim, whatever the hell, diamond. He's not going after the champ at 140, right? If this was just a regular I'm not looking at this fight as a championship fight. I'm looking at this as just, Gervonta moving up to 140 to fight a guy from 140. That in itself, to me, is impressive. Yeah, fuck the belt, fuck everything else. He came out, his power followed him to 140. He did. And in regards to him being like a one punch fighter, he did mention after the fight that he tries to not throw punches unnecessarily. He doesn't try to be active just for the sake of being active, but he does pick his shots. So that I understand, but it's kind of concerning because if the opportunity doesn't present itself to land the shot and he doesn't take it, and he doesn't make the opportunity, sometimes that's how you have to do it. You have to create the opportunities by being active. And if he doesn't do that, if he fights a better caliber 140 pounder that doesn't give him those opportunities, he's going to have to throw. He's going to have to be more active because otherwise those opportunities aren't going to present themselves to land that one punch. That being said, he did move up to 140. I think even after the post-fight interview, he was kind of dodging the question about going back down to 135, which I think suits him better. Yes, he did beat a 140-pound dude, but he looked tiny. He looked fucking tiny, dude. Like, just at the weigh-ins, it looked like a dude and his younger brother was standing next to him. That's pretty much how him and Barrios looked. So I like the fact that he came up to 140 and he fought a legit 140 guy. And Barrios isn't that big of a name, but he has a decent record with enough knockouts. So I thought, okay, maybe Barrios it's gonna cause him some problems. It's gonna land some shots on him, and he did. I mean, this is a fight. You're not gonna come out of the fight completely unscathed, right? So yes, Barrios did land some shots on Gervonta. So that wasn't too concerning. Yes, he did take some shots. I certainly don't like the fact that that fucking Gervonta talks the way he talks. I'm not sure what the hell he's saying half of the time when he's talking. It just kind of seems like he's distracted. He's like constantly distracted. He looks around and he talks to you and he's like, and he just kind of tries to have these like pre-planned out answers similar to like fucking Floyd sometimes. But I don't know. I don't think he's gonna stay at 140. I think he just did it for the sake of collecting a belt, which he seems to look at as legitimate. I do think he's gonna move back down to 135. I hope at least, because there's plenty of opposition there, plenty of bigger names if that's what he's really what he's looking for, which Leonard Ellerby did make it seem like it. But it was look at the arena. The arena was pretty fucking. I mean, at least they made it seem like it was pretty full. So he has a following, right? He's as young as he is, he's winning these belts, and he has a following. So I think he has the potential to be like a pretty big fucking superstar. But that's it. Like, all right, enough with these fucking experimental fights. Time to fight the big names. Time to fight the big dudes, the legitimate guys at each weight division or whatever weight division he wants to be at. Like, that's enough. We can't be having more of these fucking fights. Him going after secondary champs. Like, that's enough. He has to fight actual top competition now. But anyway, he did come out with the victory nonetheless. He did fight a legitimate 140. That in itself was impressive because of the way he did it. It wasn't a decision. He didn't outbox him. I mean, he did as well, but it was the power. The power followed him up to 140, which was my biggest question. How his chin reacts to another 140-pounder who's got better pop. If he's going to stay at 140, there's plenty of guys at 140, right? We talk about Ramirez. We're talking about Postol. We're talking about even Regis Prograis. Any one of those guys, I would totally be down for if he stays at 140.
Even Josh Taylor.
Yeah, I think they're going to avoid Josh Taylor, honestly. Like, I don't think they're going to go that route. Even though he's a legitimate dude of the weight division, the way it seems, I don't think he's going to. I'm almost positive they're going to try to avoid him.
They're going to avoid, and I agreed with everything except the 135 return. Mm-hmm. They're going to avoid everybody until those guys fight each other and then start moving up. Right now, what's in the favor of Gervonta Davis is the fact that his fan base, which is basically a lot of Floyd Mayweather fans that have transferred over because Floyd is his manager or promoter.
He gave him the rub.
They know, hey, they're not going to fight them. They don't make enough money. Oh, they're not going to fight them. They don't make enough money. Everything's about money. They don't make enough money. They don't own that. They don't make enough money. That's all they ever say. Online, everything is about money, money. Who's selling fights?
It's the PBC script at this point.
I'm telling you. So, dude, Adrian Broner versus Gervonta Davis at the end of the year is going to happen on pay-per-view, and they're all going to buy it. Everybody from that thing's going to do 1 million buys. Guaranteed, bro. Mark my words right now. And then after they're done with Adrian Broner, I think they fight Mikey Garcia next May, somewhere around the Mexican holiday date. And Gervonta will be 27 years old. He's going to have 2 pay-per-view fights with guys that the PBC fan base will accept as challengers that deserve him to be on the pound-for-pound ranking. And he'll stay clear of all the legit champs, bro. All those guys you named at 140, all those guys you name at 135. They're going to dance around these motherfuckers for 3 to 4 years. And maybe when he's 30, 31... maybe then they'll start taking on the real opposition. But these guys, no, that's not how Floyd works, man. Floyd is very much about who's going to make the most money. And I'm sorry, I just think Adrian Broner versus Gervonta Davis, they're going to starve the fuck out of Adrian Broner. He's not going to get a catch weight. If he wants to make, I don't know, they'll give him 5 million, 7 million. Trust me, Adrian's going to need it. They're going to fucking tell him you got to be 140 at the time of the weights, or we're going to take $500,000 for every half pound you're over. And he will make that weight. He will die to make that check. And Gervonta will whoop his ass. He'll knock him out because he'll be weight drained.
Did Floyd ever unify belts? Like I don't right off the top of my head, I don't think he ever did, because it seems like they're following that same pattern or that same formula with Gervonta.
Hey, bro, that's why whenever you watch, I think Carlos Baldomir is the one he unifies with, because Baldomir had titles because he beat Zab Judah.
Oh, that's right.
But when you look at Floyd's famous picture that they all do the meme on with him on the pool table with all of his belts, there's a reason why they're fucking 17 WBC belts.
Yeah, right. And then like one IBF, and it's like, hey, it's it.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. Like, that's the most PBC talk you've done in an entire year, Andrew. Like, I was just checking my records. I just timed it out, and that's the most you talked about a Floyd Mayweather / PBC fight in the last year since you stopped watching PBC.
He's got a bright future with the Floyd Mayweather blueprint. I know where these guys are going. It's nowhere near the top competition. Yet all of his fans will be like, you're just hating. He's pound for pound. You just hate him because he has tattoos. All right, whatever.
Wow. What a way to finish this. 2 weeks ago, we got a 20-minute rant on a woman boxer. This week, we got a 20-minute rant on a PBC card. Wow. That's strong finish. Strong finish.
I gotta end it, Lee. We gotta be impressed with him moving up and fighting an undefeated kid who is much bigger. That still impressed with, but opposition, like Miguel said, needs to pick up before we start talking pound for pound ranking. Like, get the fuck, that was all over the way. I don't know if you guys seen it, but everyone's like, he's Mike Tyson, he should be pound for pound. I was just losing my mind, man. Like, just fucking calm down a little. But that's the power of those little shiny belts, man. Some of these casuals, they don't know this shit. They're like, no, he's a 5-time champ. Fuck you talking about? Like, oh my God.
There you go. Once around the horn with your favorite rumor of the week, I start with you, Miguel. What's your favorite rumor of the last week or so in boxing?
Oh, rumor.
Anything you saw where you went, oh God, I hope that's true.
Well, I don't know if it's a rumor. It's sort of kind of confirmed the potential De La Hoya and Vitor Belfort fight. That's supposed to go down.
I had it up. We didn't cover it, but they haven't set a date. Nobody's willing to go out on a limb with it.
No
in September, that, so no less.
Does that count as a rumor? I don't know, but yeah, in September, exactly. He's going to try to steal the fucking spotlight off of any sort of other Mexican fighters fighting that month.
Jesus. Andrew, what's your favorite kind of news you've gotten wind of that you hope is actually actual?
I don't hope it's accurate, but I called it a few weeks ago, so I'm sticking with it. Triller is dropping the August date for Telefimo Lopez. I believe soon they're gonna tell him we didn't make the money, and there's court case or something's gonna probably come out of this, but $6 million in the hole. This thing has had 3 fight dates, you guys. We're on our 3rd one.
Nobody's buying tickets for it because nobody gives
no
a shit.
one's buying tickets, man. Nobody. $6 million, Lee. If do the math on what they had to at least try to sell this thing at to try to make half of that back. These boxing matches don't really make $6 million at the gate. And I know they have the Triller pay-per-view, and they hope that's going to bring in some too. But it starts at the gate. If your fight can't sell a fucking ticket, the promoter knows we're not going to sell a fucking pay-per-view. It's got to be hot at the gate for it to generate buys in pay-per-view. So the fact that they can't move a ticket is telling us that they're not going to move the pay-per-view. Say the bars. None of the bars are going to purchase this thing at thousands of dollars what they sell them at when they're trying to get these closed circuit venues bought. So I'm sticking with, well, Lopez was cool for showing Bob Arum what was up. Bob was right. It's going to be at the very end. That's why Bob Arum is who he is, and you're just a fucking fighter.
Well, let's ask him for his favorite news rumor of the week, shall we? Top Rank Bob. Again, get your feet off my bed, Bob. What is your favorite rumor or news story of the week, Top Rank Bob?
Listen, don't sleep on Nakatani.
That'll do it. Go to fightnetradio.media. You heard it from Bob. Don't sleep on Nakatani when he fights Lomachenko yesterday. If you haven't watched it, go watch it and put in your own opinions. Go to fightnetradio.media. We have a webpage. Has news. Has all the different ways to listen, watch, depending on what kind of form. Yeah, Andrew.
To finish that rumor, it's going to be the undercard to De La Hoya Belfort now. I'm sorry. That's the rumor that Lopez.
That's a good rumor. That's a good way. That's a strong rumor, Andrew. Strong one.
September to match up with De La Hoya Belfort. There you go.
There you go. Bum, 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 bum. And that still won't be enough to save that card. Because really, Bob, what do you think about Teofimo Lopez?
He's a single.
Hey, because Triller was probably like, they probably thought of that in some boardroom and didn't even ask Oscar about how much it's going to cost them to get him in the ring. So you could add $2 million onto the $6 million they already owe fucking for this whole thing to take off. So yeah, they're just building bigger debt. It doesn't look good for Triller. They did good with Tyson Roy Jones, and then they got a little fucking crazy.
There you go. Check out fightnetradio.media. That way you can follow at FightFiendMigs on both YouTube and the Instagrams. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow FightNet Radio on YouTube and Facebook. You can follow Andrew to the bathroom. I like that. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to keep going with it. It's pretty strong at this moment in my universe.
I don't like that at all.
You don't? Where do you want him to follow you to?
Triggered.
The Wiz. That's an East Coast joke. Do you want him to follow you to Gino's?
The backyard?
That's the backyard. Yeah, to Andrew's backyard or his house where he's taking out a wall to expand the house. What? Go ahead, Andrew.
I definitely want men following me to the restroom, Lee. I know that one.
All right. That's fair enough.
I seen it. Hey, here's something to end you guys with. You guys got to watch The Kings on Showtime, the 4-part documentary on Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and Duran. Epic, epic, epic. They cover a lot of the stories we already know, but they do it in great detail with great footage. It's very sad that Marvelous wasn't here to see this, but the dude was a stud back then. And actually, Lee, I think his ranking goes up again after this series is over. Duran's detail about why he lost the Hearns fight is legendary. Bob Arum's definition, or how do I say it, describing the differences between Hagler and Hearns' private jets as they're doing the promotional tour for their fight is fucking Fight Net Radio epic. It's Bob Arum on Fight Net Radio all day, so I'm not going to give it away. You guys got to go tune in because Showtime put a hell of a good series together on that one.
There you go. There's your tip for the week. We will be back next week. Do we have fights this weekend? Jesus. Hold on, let's check.
Good question. I think we have something.
So is there any reason to watch boxing this weekend? I've been on tour for so long. Jesus Christ. I feel like I've been to, oh yeah, that's it. I went to New Mexico, which sucks. July 17th, the other Charlo is fighting. Wow, Brian Castano is
scrolling.
Brian, yeah, okay.
Those are key dates.
Yeah, okay, good. David Morrell takes on
Mario
tonight. Cesaris tonight on Fox. So more PBC bullshit. More PBC. Next week would be 4th of July weekend. From Carson, Chris Colbert takes on Nyambara for Colbert's WBA interim title. That's so unexciting. And that's it. We get a week off. Thank God.
Zoo. Timothy Zoo versus Zarafa.
On the 7th, we will probably get a special report for that Wednesday midweek fight. So we will have, I think for the first time ever, I think it's time to have producer Sam Navajero on for just a brief moment to talk about Michael Zarafa, whatever, Michael Giraffe against Tim Tszyu. This is such a non-fight and means everything to Australians for no apparent reason whatsoever. And the fights happen yesterday or tomorrow, so you can bet on the fight by just hearing the update about the fight. Probably. I don't know how that time change works. I know that I was up at 3 or 4 in the morning doing work, and I was watching a fight tomorrow with. Did you guys see that whole texting thing? That was completely out of control. That was crazy with whatever. So that'll do it. We will be back next week. And you guys will have your shows on Sunday because Andrew demanded it for you guys. He's tired of your comments. That's exactly what happened last week. Andrew got real pissy about us not doing the show at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're not
Shut up,
show at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Now I'm gonna go see that. I'm gonna go see how that 8 a.m. affected my day with my wife. If I have breakfast out there or not.
I don't know, Andrew. I hope the best.
She didn't be pissed off. I can probably almost guarantee she wanted to sleep a little longer than 8 a.m.
I'm sorry. That'll do it. Go to fightnetradio.media. Shout out to Chris. Make him breakfast. Come on. Come on. It's a little sausage for the man. I mean, come on. I'm just saying. I'm not a fast food. Talk to everybody next week, and thank you guys all for listening. Fight Night Radio!
FightNetRadio.com with Andrew and Lee. Talking boxing, combat, sports, comedy, football, and everything kick-ass. All on FightNetRadio.com. Fight Night!